Good evening to you all. Welcome to CSBIS Academy Current Affairs Bulletin. Today's news important for civil services. Let us discuss. As you all know, from May 5th onwards, we are having a tough time in India-China border. Our defense forces have requested the government to provide additional exclusive military satellites particularly in the line of actual control LAC. Our Indian armed forces and paramilitary forces require 4 to 6 satellites dedicated only for military use. 4 to 6 satellites. And most of our satellites today can be used both for civilian and military purposes. But we want exclusive satellites, minimum 4 to 6, to guard LAC, line of actual control. And I'll tell you the list of satellites which are used for both military and civilian purposes first. In the year 2005, we have started Cartosat series. In the year 2005, we have started Cartosat series. And Cartosat, you know that it is image. They'll take images. And we have Navik, not it completely materialized. Navik is civilian purpose and also military purpose. And we have INSAT. INSAT series, recently we have also launched GSAT 7-7A, which is also used for military purpose and civilian purpose. But there is only one satellite properly dedicated only for military purpose in India. There is only one satellite properly dedicated only for military purpose in India. That is EMISAT, EMISAT, Electromagnetic Intelligence Gathering Satellite. So our Indian Army is asking we should get around 4 to 6 satellites minimum to guard, to surveil, to actually supervise LAC, India China border, as there were growing tensions between India and China in the bordering areas. This is the demand or request by the defense, Indian defense. So, this is very important. You should read about EMISAT. Next important news, you all know that last year in April, last year 2019, just before elections, a constitutional amendment act was passed. 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act 103. So 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act is for EWS reservations, economically weaker sections. Reservations for EWS, economically weaker sections. So there were many petitions filed on EWS reservations. The Supreme Court yesterday have referred all these petitions challenging 103rd Constitutional Amendment or EWS reservations, introducing 10% quota. You know that 10% quota in jobs and admissions for economically weaker sections was given by 103rd Amendment Act, and Supreme Court yesterday they referred this issue to 5-judge constitutional bench. 5-judge constitutional bench by saying that this particular 10% reservation issue involves substantial question of law. Substantial question of law. You all know that 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act introduced Clause 6 to Article 15 and Clause 6 to Article 16. So both for Article 15 and Article 16, Clause 6 was introduced. So many petitions were filed against introducing 10% reservation for economically weaker sections. What are the contentions of petitioners? Why they have filed petition against EWS quota? Why? This is the question you should know first. What are the contentions they are asked? They are saying the petitioners are saying that the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, that is providing 10% reservation to EWS, is ultra virus of the Constitution as it destructs the basic structure of the Constitution. It is ultra virus as it destructs the basic structure of the constitution. This is the first argument they are saying. The second argument is they are saying that reservation should not be granted only on economic criteria. Solely based on economic criteria, you should not give reservations. That is their argument. And third thing, giving reservations under economic criteria, only on economic criteria, is against the judgment of Indra Sahane versus Union of India. And they're also saying that uh, providing reservations in admissions and other things, it takes away freedom of profession, business and occupation, which was guaranteed in Article 19(1)(g) to the unaided institutions, to the unaided private institutions. So all these things were the petitioners' contentions. How the central government is defending 10% reservations? How the central government is defending? Central government is saying 10% reservation is correct. So in Indrasane versus Union of India case, the Supreme Court said you cannot do such type of reservations by only government memorandum. But here, a constitutional amendment was made to provide reservations for economic criteria. A constitutional amendment. Through constitutional amendment, we have provided reservation for economic criteria. So here in this article, you are expected to study two, three things. First is 103rd Constitutional Amendment. What is that? It is 10% reservation to EWS. First is 10% reservation to EWS. Second question, second thing which you need to remember. What is a constitutional bench? What is a constitutional bench? See, if a single judge sits, if only one judge sits, it is called single bench. If two judges sits, it is called division bench. So full bench means three judges. Generally, in constitutional cases, there will be five judges. There will be five judges. According to Article 145 of the Indian Constitution, according to Article 145, Clause 3, if any issue revolves around interpretation of the Constitution or any substantial question of law in the interpreting of the Constitution, see if there is any doubt in the interpretation of the Constitution, if there is any problem in the interpretation of the Constitution, then the Supreme Court can refer it to the constitutional bench consisting of five judges. Now, the question of 10% EWS quota issue went to constitutional bench consisting of five judges. Here I wish to tell you, what do you mean by a constitutional bench? A constitutional bench generally will be held for the questions relating to the constitutional interpretation, constitutional matters. What are constitutional matters? Do you remember Keshavananda Bharati case, 13 judges? Keshavananda Bharati case, 13 judges. And Puttaswamy case, 9 judges. Shabarimala case, 5 judges. In the same way, Saira Banu case, 5 judges. National Judicial Appointments Commission, 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, 5 judges. So, whenever constitutional issues are involved, interpretation of constitution is involved, generally there will be a full bench, more than a full bench. Generally 5 judges benches will be appointed. According to which article, when there is any question of interpretation of the constitution, 5 judges bench will be involved. According to Article 145, Clause 3. Article 145, Clause 3 says that the minimum number of judges who can sit for deciding for the interpretation of the constitution or any substantial question of law in the interpretation of the constitution should be 5. In the same way, if presidents ask any advice, if President of India asks any advice in accordance with Article 143 with respect to interpretation of the constitution, then also 5 judges. So this is the thing. Article 145 Clause 3 is very important here, and also 143, and also Indra Sahani judgment. So this is the news, and this is the first time after many months that Supreme Court is constituting constitutional bench. Because of coronavirus, the constitutional benches are not sitting from last 3-4 months. Again, from last week, constitutional benches started functioning. Very important. Next news from Hindustan Times. I am telling this news from Hindustan Times. The Mandal movement. The heading of the news article is the Mandal movement. 30 years ago, on August 7th, Indian politics and society have seen a historical moment when VP Singh government, at that time VP Singh was the prime minister, when VP Singh government decided to implement OBC reservations, 27% OBC reservations. So this is Mandal movement. very important. This article I expect you to read. So after 27% decision, there was a case filed in the Supreme Court, Indira Sahane versus Union of India. The Supreme Court said that giving 27% reservations to OBCs is correct, but the creamy layer in the OBCs should be excluded. All these things happened, and by tomorrow, we are completing 30 years of VP Singh government's decision to implement OBC reservations and to implement Mandal Commission report. So Mandal Commission at that time said more than 3,743 castes comes under OBCs. Around 52% of the Indian population comes under OBCs. That was Mandal report. That's very important for you. Just remember. Next important news for today, FATF. FATF, Financial Action Task Force. FATF, Action Task Force. India is going to highlight in the coming plenary session of FATF with respect to Pakistan's inaction on terrorism, on terror. So Pakistan is not taking proper action to control terrorism and terrorists. This is India's contention. India is going to raise this issue in FATF again, and India is likely to start this. And in the month of October, FATF session will be there. You all know that Financial Action Task Force will see whether the countries are following proper norms in investments, particularly terror financing, money laundering, etc. So already Pakistan is in the grey list. It received many warnings from FATF that Pakistan should take strong action against terror financing. But Pakistan is showing a very negligent and normal attitude towards FATF. One day Pakistan will come in the blacklist also if Pakistan continues in the same momentum and same mood. This is also a thing which you need to understand. And today is a day 75 years back, the most, I can say, worst moment in the world history has happened. Can you guess what is that? August 6th, 1945. August 6th, 1945. 75 years of atomic bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 75 years. 75 years back, there was a bomb on Hiroshima and then on Nagasaki. Little boy, August 6th. Fat man, August 9th. And first time, and it is the last time till date, that atomic bomb was exploded on the atmosphere where humans are living and destructed like that. Till now, after that, so many countries declared that they are nuclear powers, but they have not exploded in the vicinity of the people. So they have not damaged the people's lives. But America, Manhattan Project, secret project, prepared a nuclear bomb. You know what Einstein told after that? I would have become a cobbler instead of becoming a scientist. I would have become a cobbler instead of becoming a scientist. 75 years ago, during the World War II, the Japanese city of Hiroshima was destroyed by one single atom bomb. 3 days after, a second bomb destroyed Nagasaki. 3 days after, a second bomb destroyed Nagasaki. More than 2 lakh people were killed instantly. Instantly, more than 2 lakh people were killed. And you know one more thing, the Hiroshima Dome have become UNESCO World Heritage Site. So no other country and no other person should use such a bomb. And the survivors in that, and the survivors in that were called Hibakusha. Those who survived the Hiroshima Nagasaki attacks, they are called Hibakusha. Hibakusha survivors. And you all know that in the Second World War, Japan properly entered into the Second World War through Pearl Harbor incident, where Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Then America wanted to take a revenge on Japan, and America wanted to give a conclusion. And this is the pathetic thing when America killed innocent people in Japan by using a nuclear bomb. This is the destruction. And based on this, you can expect some prelims questions. So the countries which have not signed NPT, non-proliferation treaty, like India, Pakistan, Israel, already this question was asked. Already this question was asked. And you need to read about NPT, CTBT, And P5 countries, the permanent five in UNSC, all five countries have nuclear bombs, all these things. Okay, so this is the one of the thing which we need to understand. And next important news, new CAG. We got a new Comptroller and Auditor General GC Murmu. He was the former Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir. GC Murmu is our new CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. CAG office is considered as the bulwark of Indian democracy. And Article 148 to 151 of the Indian Constitution deals with Comptroller and Auditor General. And CAG maintains a very good relationship with Public Accounts Committee. In fact, CAG is a friend, philosopher, and guide of PAC. CAG is a friend, philosopher, and guide of Public Accounts Committee. CAG uplifts transparency in auditing. CAG promotes proper accounting. And CAG will also see not only central government accounts, but also we will audit state government accounts and where substantial stake of government is involved. So Indian CAG is considered as a watchdog of public purse. And Manoj Sinha appointed as new Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir. Mr. Manoj Sinha was appointed as new Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir. Okay, this is also very important. And next topic, recently there was a data released in Live Mint. The heading of the article is Good Life is in the Air. If you want to have a good life, longevity in life, you should have a pollution free air. If you wish to have good life, a long life, you wish to need that. So according to WHO guidelines, Indians would have lived an average of 5.2 years more longer if our air quality is good. So we would have lived more 5 years more. Our life expectancy will be 5 years more if our air quality is very good. So bad air cuts our life expectancy. This is the thing. Recently, Chicago University of Chicago Energy Policy Institute said this. In India, in Lucknow, the life expectancy was reduced by 10 years. We can increase 10 years of life expectancy if the air quality is very good, particularly the concentration of PM 2.5. Concentration of PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5, is affecting our life expectancy. We are living less years because of this concentration of PM 2.5. This might be your prelims question. High PM 2.5 levels across, even not only in India, in Bangladesh also makes it most polluted country. So if you see Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Pakistan, pollution levels are reaching new heights. Pollution levels are reaching new heights. Do you know our life expectancy we can increase if our air pollution is very less in Hyderabad? If air pollution comes into control, we can our life expectancy we can increase 3 years more. We can live average life expectancy 3 years more. And next important news for today. Next important news. RBI bi-monthly monetary policy committee meeting. See, RBI bi-monthly monetary policy committee meeting. Actually, there is a MPC. From last 4 years, our monetary policy is not exclusively decided by the RBI, but by a committee called Monetary Policy Committee. This committee consists of total 6 members, 3 from government, 3 from RBI. And the chairman of this committee is RBI governor. And minimum 4 times this MPC will decide every year, but regularly for every alternative month. That means bi-monthly. Bi-monthly RBI is deciding. That is Monetary Policy Committee is deciding our monetary policy. So there was rates. New rates have come up. Repo rate is same. Reverse repo rate is almost unchanged. But two things you need to understand: why RBI did not cut interest rates? Because our inflation is high. From last 3 months, our inflation is very high. So April, May, June, July quarter, our CPI is 6.09%. Our inflation is high. So RBI, the monetary policy have a target, four plus or minus 2. The maximum level, toleration level of inflation is 6. We have crossed it. Maximum toleration level is 6. We have crossed it. So RBI have not changed rates much this time. No, did not increase, did not decrease anything. No rate cuts also. So this is the news for today. We'll meet tomorrow with current affairs for tomorrow. Thank you.